In Pro Tools, you have two main windows. First of which is the mix window, which is over here on the far right hand side of my screen. I'm going to maximize it so you can see it in full. And we'll talk more about this in a later tutorial. But it just has one channel strip in it right now because I only have one track in my project. This bigger window that you see here is the edit window. And I'm going to maximize it so it takes up the full screen. In this tutorial, I'm just going to give you an overview of the edit window. And in subsequent tutorials, I'm going to go in great detail explaining all of the different parts of the edit window. But I just want to start off with a quick overview of the edit window user interface. So here across the top of the edit window, you have your toolbar. And your toolbar in your edit window consists of a lot of different controls for Pro Tools. First, you have your edit modes. Then you have your zoom buttons. Next, you have your edit tools. Beside that, you have your counter and edit selection indicators. Next to that, you have your grid and nudge values. Beside that, you have your transport controls, and you have a meter here. Now, your transport controls are here, but you may have noticed down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, there's also a floating transport. And we'll talk more about the transport later. To the far right-hand side of the toolbar, you actually have a menu that allows you to add or take different things away from your toolbar and your transport specifically. So I can add synchronization information to my transport here, or I can take it away, things of that nature. You can also customize your toolbar and move things around. So if you hold down the command key, say for instance I want to move my counters, I can move them over here to the far right hand side of my transport. If I want to move them back, I can hold down command and pop them right back to where they were originally. Down beneath the toolbar, you will see your time base and conductor rulers. So these are rulers that allow you to know your location in time based on bars and beats, minutes and seconds, time code, samples, and it'll also allow you to see what your tempo is throughout your project and if there are any tempo changes, meter changes, and it's also where you can see markers. And you can add or take away any of these counters by clicking on this little menu here and checking or unchecking things. So I could add another time code, I could add feet and frames, I could add key or chords, or I could take things away by unchecking here. Next, beneath that, you have this big large area that's only being occupied by one track. And this is the tracks area. This is where you actually arrange, edit, and see all of your clips that are associated with your project. Now I only have one audio clip in, and I created a track off camera. We'll spend a lot of time talking about the different types of tracks and how to create tracks in Pro Tools, but I needed to have something in here so I could do the overview. So I have one track here with this one clip on it. Nice little jazz clip there. And this is called a clip, not a region in Pro Tools. This is called a clip. And over here you have your playlist and track view. And this is where you can arm a track, you can input monitor on a track, you can solo a track, and you can mute a track. I didn't want to hit input monitor because I didn't want it to monitor the input that was on this particular track. And associated with your tracks, you have your tracks list and your edit groups over here on the far left-hand side of the screen. Now, if you can't see your tracks list and your edit groups, pay attention to this little arrow at the bottom of the screen on the bottom left-hand corner. If I click it so it's hidden, that button is way over here to the left. And if you click it, it'll pop back open and show you your tracks list and your edit groups. Also associated with your tracks is your clips list, which is on the far right-hand side of your screen over here. and there's only one clip in here right now. So any audio that is recorded or imported into the project, whether it's on a track or not, will show up in your clips list. Also, if you can't see your clips list, make sure you check to see if this little arrow that's pointing to the left is there, and if it is, click it and you'll be able to see your clips list. This is just a floating transport. We'll spend a whole lot of time talking about the transport. Again, this is just a quick overview of the edit window. In the next tutorial, we're going to focus on the edit modes.